Hello everyone and welcome to Monza for race 2 in round 2 for the Trofeo Pirelli drivers about to take to the track. Glorious afternoon here in Monza, which has seen an influx of spectators to enjoy the race action to come. We're in Monza round 2, as I mentioned, having been to Valencia. We're off to Budapest, La Casale, Silverstone, Imola, and the finale mondiale towards the end of October is in Mugello. There you can see the location of the Monza circuit. We are perhaps 25-30 minutes from central Milan, set in the wonderful natural park surroundings here in Monza, this historic circuit of some 5.793 kilometers. And the 3 sectors, as you can see, 30-minute race starts with a rolling start. And the Trofeo Pirelli drivers split into 2 categories, the pro drivers and the AM drivers. And Daniel D'Amato, familiar name in the Ferrari Challenge, but has been off and done much other racing as well. He's back as a driver this weekend and in truth has blown everyone away in terms of his performances on track, and took the win in race 1 yesterday and set a blistering time in qualifying this morning to put the car by some measure on pole position. So it's D'Amato and this man, Philip Barron, that will occupy the front row of the grid. Philip Barron, who had a less than desirable finish to the race yesterday, had a drive-through penalty, but the drive-through penalty couldn't be taken because there wasn't enough time in the race to do so, so it was a time penalty in the end. But this is the man that has, as I mentioned, blown everyone away in qualifying. He's taken 10 wins in the Ferrari Challenge thus far, and well, you certainly wouldn't bet against him taking 2 out of 2 this weekend. His pace has been absolutely phenomenal. The CDP engineered car, as we look back from the Hublot safety car at the grid forming, and lots of interest down there on the grid. Always a very, very busy place ahead of the start of the race. So D'Amato, Barron, then it's Fabio Lima, former single-seater star, GP2 champion, Alessandro Vezzoni. Good qualifying from him to go from P4. And then the best of the AM drivers is Jens Liebhauser, but it is P4 that we go to now. And Alessandro Vezzoni then, 23 podium finishes in a long and illustrious career in the Ferrari Challenge, and enjoying it as much today as he ever did. Great to see Alessandro Vezzoni qualifying so well. And there is Fabio Lima then, that will be going from P3 on the grid, former GP2 champion, and you wouldn't bet against him from P3 on the grid either. So it is the 5.793 kilometer circuit of Monza. So in this, the year that we celebrate this 70th anniversary, and it's an all-new car for the Ferrari Challenge this year. The first time a turbocharged car has been in the Ferrari Challenge, and there, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, denoted by the black windscreen strip, it is the best of the AM drivers. Jens Liebhauser, 2 podium finishes, and the AM drivers have a black sun strip, the pro drivers a white one, easily identifiable then throughout the course of the race as to who is leading what in terms of the pro and the AM categories as well. Also included in this race, as has always been the tradition with Ferrari, that last year's car, a few of them are still involved in the race, and those racing their own separate 458 category. 458 Evo, of course, being the car of the Ferrari Challenge up until the introduction of this fantastic new machine, the 488, as we look at Thomas Loflad's car. He's going from P6 on the grid. Thomas Loflad, an AM driver for Gone Motorsport. going to be blooming hot in there, that's for sure. And there, just reinforcing the 70th anniversary that I was talking about, as we look at Andrea Gagliardini, who goes from P7 on the grid for Gagliardini, who didn't sadly finish the first race in Valencia, but took podium place in the second race, took P3. First race was a DNF. Daniel D'Amato then, he is going from pole position, and as I said, he set an incredible time during qualifying, and is going to be very, very hard to beat, I would suggest, from that P1 position. Barron and Lima will do their level best to take the race to him, but we will see, and we are just a few moments away from the race getting underway. All the information at races.ferrari.com. That is the portal for you to take a look at and find out everything that you would like to know about the Ferrari Challenge. That is races.ferrari.com. A fantastic clip of some of the highlights here at Monza this weekend. There is number 70, Martin Nelson, who has been the best of the AM drivers thus far, but he has a lowly starting position. He's only P3 effectively in the AM class. Martin Nelson, as I was mentioning then, is the third of the AMs on the grid, but this is the grid in full. D'Amato and Barron front row. Then it's Fabio Lima and Alessandro Vezzoni. Before we find the best of the AM drivers, that's Jens Liebhauser going from P5 on the grid, and then it's Thomas Loflad who goes from P6. Those are the first three rows before we find Andrea Gagliardini, a pro driver, down there P7. Then it is Martin Nelson, who's taken 3 out of 3 in the AM category. It'll be a big ask for him to do that from P8 on the grid. Then it's Sam Smith, Thomas O'Rourke, Joshua Kartu and Christian Overgaard then, who round out the first 6 rows. Per Nielsen, Robin Jensen, who's in a spare car. Then it's Galapatar, who's the best of the 458 drivers. Mark Brough goes P16. Then it's Holger Harmsen and Yoshio Miura, with Pierre Kiersgaard and Chris Froggatt right at the back of the grid. Another one of the drivers that's in a spare car for this race is Chris Froggatt. So the Hublot safety car has left the grid. Formation lap is about to get underway. So the man that set pole position with a blistering lap is Daniel D'Amato.
Another pole position. Wow, I'm very happy. The car was really fast. I can't wait to start the race. And yesterday win, and I expect to win another race.
Thank you, Daniel D'Amato. Then, expecting to win another race, and you certainly wouldn't bet against that from his P1 on the grid. Just to give you some ideas, I know I keep talking about this, it was a blistering lap. It was a full second, 1 second quicker than P2 on the grid, Philip Barron. There you go. Right, at the top of your screen, all the social media, if you'd like to be part of it, then there is no excuse. There is all the social media for you on the top of the screen. So the cars making their way around this 5.7 kilometre circuit to the starting grid. It's a rolling lap always for the Ferrari Challenge cars, these 488 turbocharged wonderful cars. They will line up behind the safety car in grid formation. The safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and then it will be the responsibility of Daniel D'Amato and Philip Barron as the front row drivers to control the pace of the rolling lap. And then when we go green, we will be racing for 30 minutes in the Trofeo Pirelli from Ferrari Challenge. Number 45 car that you can see there is that of Christian Overgaard. We're on board now with Fabio Lima weaving from side to side behind the all-green machine of Philip Barron, trying to generate some temperature into the tyres and also some temperature into the brakes, and they're heading towards the Variante Ascari, which is where the safety car just about will pick the cars up. And then the start sequence will begin. There's our pole man, Daniel D'Amato. We've just seen and heard from him. He's expecting to make it 2 out of 2 this weekend. He's done all the hard work in qualifying. It's the slowest that you'll see those cars go through, Ascari, as Philip Barron lines up alongside Daniel D'Amato. The Hublot safety car that we're on board with now stacks them all up in 2x2 formation. Grid formation ahead of this rolling start for Trofeo Pirelli Race 2. We're in round 2 at Monza. And this is the Ferrari Challenge in full effect. This 30-minute race about to get underway. Beppe Scanetti, former Ferrari Challenge champion, driving the Hublot safety car. And still Philip Barron weaving to try and generate that crucial temperature into the tyres and into the brakes, particularly when they arrive at an incredible speed at turn number 1, which is the Variante de Rettifio chicane. Then, and Philip Barron and Fabio Lima are absolutely side by side as they head into this first chicane. Daniel D'Amato, Fabio Lima now tucks in behind Philip Barron, but once again goes to the outside of him. Philip Barron will have the inside line. Fabio Lima might get run out onto the curb. Alessandro Vezzoni in there as well, as one car goes bouncing across, 2-3 cars go bouncing across. And, well, thankfully, everyone seems to get through that chicane all okay. Some taking really unorthodox routes, but it matters not, providing no one has been damaged. One of those cars was the Thomas Loflad car. Martin Nelson, I think, has probably got the better of Thomas Loflad and has moved himself up into P7 in the race already. He's the AM driver, Martin Nelson, who's already taken 3 wins out of 3 races here in the Ferrari Challenge. But Daniel D'Amato it is with his nose in front. P2 is Philip Barron, and P3 is Fabio Lima, and they're being pursued by Alessandro Vezzoni, and the best of the AMs is Jens Liebhauser, who's P5 in the race overall. That is your P2 driver. Philip Barron in car number 91, driving for the Rosso Corsa team. So Daniel D'Amato then, Sector 2, 37.9. Sector 2 for Philip Barron, 38.3. Already you can see the pace advantage that seemingly Daniel D'Amato has. He's up the road already like a scold something, and we do have one car off. Now, I think that might be Thomas Loflad. Just looking on the timing screen, Thomas Loflad has not completed Sector 2, so I think that sure enough is the number 51 car of Thomas Loflad from Gom Motorsport, who sadly has made contact with the barrier and is out of the race. Thankfully, the marshal's working quickly to get that car out of the way, which means the race is not halted in any way. Look at this, Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. Who's the fastest? Well, it's Daniel D'Amato, and already he's built a 1.187 second gap as Alessandro Vezzoni just takes a look at Fabio Lima there. Is there contact between the two of them? That's the battle for P3. between Fabio Lima and Alessandro Vezzoni. What's really interesting here is Fabio Lima is one of the young stars in the Ferrari Challenge. Alessandro Vezzoni is one of the longest-standing drivers in the Ferrari Challenge, but he's having nothing of the young whippersnapper as he tries to wrestle away that P3 place. Daniel D'Amato then with a second's worth of comfort margin in P1 as the cars make their way through the chicane. There is the number 70 car of Martin Nelson. Christian Overgaard, another one in trouble perhaps, as we see him tumbling down the timing screen. So Christian Overgaard has gone from P15 to P18 as Andrea Gagliardini then in car number 20 just gets out onto the rough stuff, but is able to save it from there for the moment. Gagliardini is currently running in P6. Driver being split by Martin Nelson and Jens Liebhauser, the two AM drivers, and Jens Liebhauser under pressure. Beg your pardon, it's Gagliardini that was under a little bit of pressure, and Sam Smith also with Martin Nelson in that mix as well. But we pick up the leader once again, Daniel D'Amato, Philippe Barron then, all gapped nicely. The closest in the top three is this battle for third position between Fabio Lima and Alessandro Vezzoni, and even that's not critically close at the moment as they make their way through the Parabolica now. Fabio Lima wide, and everyone doing the same to get the very, very best momentum off the exit of that Curva Parabolica, heading up towards the chicane. A little bit further back, Jens Liebhauser is reeling in Alessandro Vezzoni now. Liebhauser is going to be one to watch here. He is the best of the AM drivers at the moment. Fabio Lima goes through the Variante di Rettifio then. Closely followed by Alessandro Vezzoni. Vezzoni running as an AM driver last year, elevated up to pro driver now for Alessandro Vezzoni. The fastest lap comes from Daniel D'Amato at 1:53.26 as he throws that car, really throws that car through the turn number 3, which is the second of the chicanes. Lesmo 1 now for Daniel D'Amato. Back on the power again before braking for Lesmo 2. You can see the front of the car compresses down as he brakes and exits Lesmo 2. And here a replay of the start. You can see how Barron was really under pressure from Fabio Lima. A bit of history between those two drivers following the race yesterday. In the end, Barron it was that got the heads up on Lima going through that chicane. Various cars, including the 269 car of Yoshio Miura, the 458 driver, as we go on board with Fabio Lima, and Philippe Barron just managing to nose in front of the Fabio Lima car. The one that was untroubled, of course, was Daniel D'Amato. Had it all his own way. Thomas Loflad was really bouncing around there. Contact there with Thomas Lofad and Martin Nelson. And I wonder if, as a result of bouncing over those curbs, whether Thomas Loflad had broken something on the car. Daniel D'Amato then has built a 3-second margin over Philippe Barron already. And Philippe Barron, to be fair, has built quite a margin over Fabio Lima. Of course, he's having to defend a little from Alessandro Vezzoni. It's not the closest battle for P3 that we've seen in our lives, but Vezzoni is certainly closer to him. And Jens Liebhauser is trying to get in touch as well. And Sam Smith has got past Martin Nelson. So what we have is 4 pro drivers in D'Amato, Barron, Lima, Vezzoni. Then it's an AM driver, Liebhauser. And then it's Gagliardini and Sam Smith. And Gagliardini is off! That is a high-speed drift through the gravel doing its job in terms of slowing the car right down. Now he is going to be able to return from there, but of course what he's going to do is cut across the grass, drag a whole load of gravel and throw it onto the track. Oh, Alessandro Vezzoni with a dicey moment through the chicane as well, he having taken to the grass. Now what that will have also done is filled up the cooling ducts at the front of the car with mown grass, which is kindly done. Which might mean that the car will overheat in the later stages of the race. Whether you can be able to pick out, you can see the greenery that's decorating the front of that Vezzoni car, which could make him victim to prey of Jens Liebhauser that we can see there. So the order is D'Amato, Baron, Lima, then it's Vezzoni, then we see Jens Liebhauser, then it's Sam Smith, Martin Nelson, Tommaso Roca, Joshua Cartu and Mark Bruff doing a very good job. He's up to P10. So Jens Liebhauser, first of the AM drivers then. He has the cushion of Sam Smith between himself and his AM competitor Martin Nelson, who, as I mentioned earlier, has taken 3 out of 3 AM race wins. There is the all-yellow machine of Sam Smith, you can see through the heat haze at the back of your picture, and also Martin Nelson as well. As I mentioned, rounding out the top 10 is the number 80 car of Mark Bruff, new into the Ferrari Challenge this year, supported by Great Nottingham. Good to see Mark here. Car engineered, of course, by FF Corsa, who also engineer the Sam Smith car, which you see go past you now. This is Auto Ropa's Martin Nelson. Before we see Tommaso Roca, behind Tommaso Roca is the Joshua Cartu Ferrari Budapest car, and of course it's Budapest that we're off to next in the Ferrari Challenge. As we go back to the Hungaroring. So there is Martin Nelson. Ordinarily races car number 13, but opted for number 70 this year because of the 70th anniversary of Ferrari. 8.5 minutes of the race done and dusted. Daniel D'Amato has already banked 4 seconds worth of margin between himself and Philip Barron. Barron himself is 2 seconds ahead of Fabio Lima, who in turn is almost 2 seconds ahead of Alessandro Vezzoni. So the battle at the front has really spaced itself out. Jens Liebhauser is now some 3 seconds behind Alessandro Vezzoni, but 3 seconds ahead of Sam Smith, and then it's Martin Nelson. That car you see center picture now, and that's Tommaso Roca. The car ahead is Martin Nelson. This one, the Scuderia Autoropa car, a bit of debris through that chicane, isn't there, of looks like discarded rubber. Oh, I wonder whether somebody's tyre has let go. It's Gagliardini, I would think, because Gagliardini is in the pit lane. Now, I'm not sure whether the race steward will allow, having picked up those pictures and seen the debris all over the track, whether that shouldn't be recovered. And there you can see is well called there by my colleague alongside me, Nico Spalek, who saw the rubber, and then our identification on the timing screen that Gagliardini had dropped way down the order and was in the pit lane. And what he's done is taken that stricken car back. They'll have a devil of a job replacing that wheel now, which virtually welded itself to the hub with the heat. And of course the rest of the drivers have got to put up with the rubber that he has left behind. So drama early on in this race as Gagliardini then loses his rubber. That means we've lost Thomas Loflad and Andrea Gagliardini. Gagliardini, if they manage to get the wheel off that hub, they may well send Gagliardini back out again, and at least he would be able to provide some data with regards to this Monza circuit back to the engineers. Martin Nelson now is under pressure from Tommaso Roca and Joshua Cartu. So this is the battle for P2 in the AM drivers. And Martin Nelson just feeling it now with Tommaso Roca right on him, but Tommaso Roca is in that unenviable position of being the meat in the sandwich here, because he has Joshua Cartu, another AM driver, who is pushing him as well. It's P7, 8 and 9 in the race overall, but it is P2, 3 and 4 in the AM standings. Best of the AM drivers is Jens Liebhauser, who, as I mentioned, is P5. You can see from the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen who's done what and where. D'Amato, Baron, Lima, Vezzoni, Liebhauser. Well, their grid progression is at 0 because they've stayed in the same places that they started. Up, though, is Sam Smith by 3 places. Up by some 6 places is Mark Bruff. I did say earlier on that Mark Bruff was doing a good job out there. As the engineers watch on, Daniel D'Amato then with 6.117 seconds lead over Philip Barron, Fabio Lima. And there is the battle for second position that we were talking about in the AM category, with Martin Nelson, Tommaso Roca and Joshua Cartu all involved in that. And probably Tommaso Roca is the man that's under the most pressure, because he's stuck behind Martin Nelson, can't quite have the pace to get past Martin Nelson, and subsequently becomes potential prey to Joshua Cartu in car number 30. P4 in Valencia did Joshua Cartu in the AM category, and that's exactly where he's sitting right now. He's P4 in the AM category. There is the Joshua Car2 car that we were talking about. Martin Nelson, the Scuderia Autoropa, always runs a really, really nice livery across the car. And the Scuderia Autoropa 488 is certainly another example of that. So D'Amato, Barron, Lima, 1, 2, 3. Then it's Vezzoni, Liebhauser, Smith, Nelson, Roca, Car2, and Mark Bruff then is in P10. Another one that's made a phenomenal start is Chris Froggatt, British driver, who is up to P11. Now, unfortunately, Froggatt and Bruff had a coming together yesterday, which is not what you want. Two drivers from the same engineered team from FF Corsa sadly coming together. Certainly not malicious, it was just one of those racing incidents, but that has meant that Chris Froggatt is in a spare car for this, the second race. Speaking to him just before the start of the race, able to get the car set up in quite the way that he would like it. Always difficult when you spend all the time testing and driving your car, and then you have to jump into another one which is not set up to your liking, and clearly that showed in terms of qualifying pace for this race. So live speed through the speed trap then, 269 kilometers per hour for Tommaso Roca in the number 97 car, who's running P8, but he's running P3 in the AM category behind Martin Nelson, who, as you can see, has really broken out a gap now between himself and Tommaso Roca of second 1.6 seconds between the two of them. Joshua Car2 staying with them also. Cars number 19 and 93 are under investigation for cutting the first chicane after the start. So that's Per Nielsen, and also the number 93 car is Chris Froggatt. Might explain why Chris has made up potentially so many places. This is Jens Liebhauser, the best of the AM drivers then for GOM Motorsports. Jens Liebhauser then doing a very, very good job, and still ahead of the pro driver Sam Smith, although that margin is coming down, particularly as Sam Smith has just done a very, very good sector one. The margin between the two of them is down to 7/10 now between Liebhauser and Sam Smith, so that battle is going to liven up, and hopefully we'll pick up on that battle. But look at this, Daniel D'Amato is up the road, and also Fabio Lima is getting ever closer to Philip Barron. Barron is going to come under pressure soon. We're entering the second stage of the race now, the second half of the race, I should say. And there could be a fight on for P2 in the race overall, and battle for second position also in Pro. The gap was 2.3 seconds, now down to just 8/10. Game on then. D'Amato, I would think, barring any mechanical problem, is pretty safe with some 8 1/4 seconds ahead. Barron hard on the brakes, so too Fabio Lima. Certainly taking a little bit more airborne curb through that chicane than Fabio Lima. Fabio smoother through that chicane. Beginning to feel the pressure a bit. Let's go on board with Fabio Lima, who actually, to be fair, wasn't so smooth through the first chicane, the Variante del Rettifilo, as our onboard camera proves. Here's our race leader, Daniel D'Amato. He goes through. Let's pick up the battle for P2 then. Here it is between Philip Barron and Fabio Lima. Again, Barron, front end of the car looking really loose as he compresses the front end under braking. And Fabio Lima, and they're through that very, very fast Ascari chicane. There's Alessandro Vezzoni right at the back of the picture. And Fabio Lima is reeling in Philip Barron. Will he fancy his chances through the Parabolica this time if he gets a very good exit through the Parabolica? Will he be able to take it to Philip Barron as they head towards the chicane? I would say he's not close enough to be able to do it. So they're on their way towards the Variante del Rettifilo now. Heavy braking between the two of them, but there is too much of a gap, I think, between Barron and Lima. Lima is king of the late breakers, though, definitely. He much later on the brakes than Philip Barron. this lap. So Barron, the man under pressure now. Former multi-Ferrari Challenge champion, Philippe Barron, single-seater star in his day as well, as indeed was Fabio Lima. Tommaso Roca has tightened right up to the back of Martin Nelson also. That gap down to 6/10 now, so Tommaso Roca and Martin Nelson, of course, both on the podium yesterday in the AM category. So D'Amato now 9 seconds up the road in the lead of the pros and in the race overall. In the 458 classification for last year's Evo cars, Galapata leads that with Yoshio Miura, yesterday's 458 winner, P2, and Holger Harmsen is at P3, the likeable German driver who did say to me at lunchtime today he's ordering a 488. Good that Holger is continuing to race, one of the very, very many characters in the Ferrari Challenge. There is the number 73 car of Robin Jensen. There's a story to be told here. Robin had an off in free practice, and that actually is not his car. It's a borrowed car which only arrived here at Monza. In fact, it didn't arrive quite in time for him to be able to race yesterday. He is in the race today. Right, better exit this time from the Parabolica from Fabio Lima, and now he really is clawing in that Philippe Barron car. There's got to be an overtake here. Is it going to be a duplicate, a carbon copy of yesterday when both of the cars were outside the track limits and very, very close to the wall? Barron tries to make his car as wide as possible. Fabio Lima goes to the outside, which will become the inside. I think Barron might have just gone away with that on this occasion. That was a perfect setup from Fabio Lima. Philippe Barron really having to drive through the rear view mirror now, because that rear view mirror is full of the Octane 126 Fabio Lima car. Now they make their way around the Curve Grande, taken absolutely flat before heavy braking for turn 3. Another chicane on this famed Monza circuit. Well, now it's Lima that looks the more ragged in terms of attack, because he really hastens and takes to the curbs. And he's pushing Philippe Barron for all he's worth. Oh, and there was a mistake there from Fabio Lima. Just took too much curb, had to correct the car. That will have cost him valuable tenths in this quest to wrestle away the P2 position. And this was them through the first chicane. We'll get a replay of the second, where Fabio just made a slight mistake, and the too much curb taking really unsettled the car. That may have compromised any overtake opportunity on this lap. Through Ascari they go. Now it's at this point where Fabio Lima really has to turn the wick up and reel in Philippe Barron. To be fair to him, he's getting ever so close. Not as close as perhaps he was at this time last lap around. So Barron then not prone for making mistakes and can drive extremely defensively when he needs to. I don't think Fabio Lima is going to necessarily have the chance that he had last time around, although you can see the car. It would reveal that the car is definitely got the pace, but he isn't as close as Philippe Barron as they head towards the chicane. Now, again, under braking, it looked like Fabio Lima's front end was looser than Philippe Barron's. Perhaps Philippe just feeling that the pressure was off just for a short while during that lap, following the mistake that came from Fabio Lima as the curb just really unsettled the car. Curve Grande taken flat once again. These two phenomenal 488s racing for all they're worth here in the sunshine at Monza. Heavy braking again, and this is where Fabio Lima got caught out last time around. No such mistake on this occasion. And he knows that the time is running out. 8.5 minutes remain in race duration. Now Philippe Barron is making that 488 as wide as he possibly can, because Fabio Lima is just looking at every possible opportunity. And now too, Tommaso Roca is taking on Martin Nelson. We're looking at immediate battles in both Pro and AM categories at the moment. Tommaso Roca not quite as close to Martin Nelson as Fabio Lima is to Philippe Barron, but nonetheless this is a battle going on in the AM, and it's the battle for P2 in the AM. In the same way, it's the battle for P2 in the Pro category. So two immense battles going on here for P2, the second step of the podium. So Martin Nelson, who has taken 3 wins out of 3 for the AM category, doesn't look like he's going to be doing it on this occasion, because Jens Liebhauser is the best of the AM drivers. Sam Smith is P5, having got past Jens Liebhauser. So we watch Nelson, we watch Tommaso Rocca. With 7.5 minutes remaining, what is happening to Barron and Lima? Margin between them is just 2 tenths and a bit, 2.5 tenths. And here comes Fabio Lima now. Philip Barron again makes the 488 as wide as it possibly can be to once again deny Fabio Lima. Now this, for Fabio Lima, will be immensely frustrating, because wherever he is putting the car, very cleverly in defence, Philip Barron is managing to block any move. Lima is definitely quicker through Curva Grande. He dives to the outside of Philip Barron. They both brake really heavily. He's desperately trying to provoke a mistake from the Rosso Corsa driver, but thus far none has come. Just thought Philip was going to run wide into the gravel, but he didn't. He managed to save it. You can see the back end of the car is quite loose. The tyres have been punished for the entire duration of this race. And they are being severely punished now in this battle for P2. What a sound as those cars roar past our camera position there. Fabio Lima once again lining it up. We have just 6 minutes of the race left. And through that chicane they go. No quarter given or lost. Ascari then, and there's going to be some back-marking cars. There's some traffic coming up ahead. This could play into the hands of either of them, to be honest. So Lima is right on Barron. They both turn in to the final turn, the Curva Parabolica. And you really set up an overtake at the first chicane with how you exit the final chicane, the Variante Ascari. So as they cross the timing line and head into that Variante de Rettifio, speed there through the speed trap, 282 kilometers per hour for Philip Barron, who you have to say has defended supremely well. We're on board with Fabio Lima then in the Octane 126 car. He's the one that's doing all the chasing. He's the one that is having to work really, really hard, but also having to work hard is Philip Barron in defending. So too Martin Nelson, defending from Tommaso Rocca. This is for P2 in the AM classification. Auto Roper driver versus the number 97 Rosso Corsa engineered Tommaso Rocca car. Right, here is the backmarking number. That's Palle Kiersgaard, I think it's 82 Palle Kiersgaard there. Backmarking driver is being shown the blue flag. Faster cars approaching. Make way, make way. Stand aside, one of my favourite expressions. Right, we're on board with Fabio Lima as they do get past the backmarking car. Does exactly the right thing and keeps out of the way of this battle. Good driving there from Kiersgaard, well done. Through Ascari then, absolutely flat out now. Barron, Lima, absolutely nothing between them. Both of them driving like demons. Rosso Corsa in the green, you can see the brake discs light up as into the Curva Parabolica. Fabio Lima winds on the throttle now to give it absolutely everything he can to try and reel in Philip Barron. And again, we've seen him be closer than this. They brake now. Top speed, Fabio Lima, 283 kilometers per hour. Through the Rettifio chicane. Both of these drivers who had such a tough battle yesterday. And it has to be said, there were times when the battle went as far as the rules will allow. And perhaps beyond, as both were penalised for a slight track limit excursion. Now, absolutely clean fight between the two of them. 3 minutes remain in this race. The race that's being led by Daniel D'Amato, who I think is going to win the race in April. He's 13.8 seconds ahead. There he is, Daniel D'Amato. Has been faultless all weekend, as too have CDP, in fairness, in terms of the way they've engineered the car to his liking. He has just driven that. It's a man and machine in absolute perfect harmony. The Holger Hampson 458 is a backmarking car that Daniel D'Amato is approaching right now. He'll have no hindrance from the German driver, Holger Hampson, of that I can assure you. And then we get into this battle for P2 in the race overall, and P2 in the pro honours, of course, between Philipp Baron and Fabio Lima. And you know what? Baron now really seems to have the measure of him. And of course, Fabio Lima, he's got to try and find on a circuit where there are only a certain number of places where you can even contemplate an overtake. Philip knows exactly where Fabio's going to have a go, and therefore is able to anticipate that and put the car wherever it needs to block any potential opportunity. It's here where I always think Lima just closes in on Baron. Baron brakes now, Lima brakes later. They would have really punched the brakes and the tyres of those 488s. There is Jens Liebhauser, who is running P6 in the race, but is winning the AM category for Golf Motorsport. Fine job out there on his own. Sam Smith is the car ahead, the all yellow machine you can just see there. He's running P5 in the race. In the number 92 car, the gap between Liebhauser and Martin Nelson, as you can see, some 10 seconds. There, the Martin Nelson car comes into the picture, having seen off Tommaso Roca just for the moment. 9/10 between the two of them. Just 6/10 between Baron and Lima now, although we're watching this AM battle. And Martin Nelson, then, who's going to see his unbeaten run in the AM category brought to a close by Jens Liebhauser. And here comes Philipp Baron and Fabio Lima. This the final lap, because Daniel D'Amato has crossed the timing line, so one more lap to come for this battle. It's now or never for Fabio Lima to try and wrestle away that P2 position. Well, the CDP team look on. That is Renato D'Amato to the left of your picture, father of Daniel D'Amato. Here comes Fabio Lima on Philipp Baron. Again, king of the late breakers. 4/100ths is the difference between them. And he's close. Oh, no! That's the number 73 car of Robin Jensen, who's going to get taken now by Christian Overgaard. Whether that was a mistake from Robin Jensen or not, there's no mistaking the dominance of this man. Daniel D'Amato has not put one wheel out of line for the entire weekend. Has been supremely dominant. To have a margin of some 14 seconds in the pro category is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. He has driven like a demon. And as I mentioned, CDP have given him the car to be able to do that. Daniel D'Amato then back into the Ferrari Challenge. He's racing in other categories. He's got lots and lots of racing still. Quite a young man. Interesting, Joshua Cartu is the one that is the quickest on this last lap, and the CDP team climb the fence to say well done to their man as Daniel D'Amato brings the car home to make it 2 out of 2 in the Trofeo Pirelli race. He takes win number 2 in the pro category. On Fabio Lima and Philipp Baron, as close as they've been across the entire race. And whoa, Philipp Baron just does it ahead of Fabio Lima. And the best best of the AMs is going to be this man, Jens Liebhauser, then in the number 44 car. Brilliant drive from Jens Liebhauser around the parabolica. The car is slowing. The car is slowing. Where is Martin Nelson on track? Not going to be close enough, and Martin Nelson could be taken by Thomas O'Rourke to take P2 away. Actually, Nelson is going to do it. Nelson gets past Jens Liebhauser within meters of the timing line. So it's Nelson and Roca. So Nelson's unbeaten run in the AM. Well, that is extraordinary. I just spotted that the Jens Liebhauser car was slowing around the parabolica. I thought he was far enough ahead of Martin Nelson, but he wasn't. Well, Liebhauser is still going to get an AM podium, but he's going to be P3 instead of the win. He'll be furious about that, I would think. Let's take nothing away from this young man, though. Daniel D'Amato, who has driven extraordinarily. Who's the best of the 458s? It's got to be Galopata, hasn't it? He should cross the line 15th in the race overall, which is enough to give him the 458 honours. Sure enough, there was Galopata, Octane 126. The best of the 458s. 458 Evo, of course, being last year's challenge car. Well, goodness me. The drama right at the end of that race. Well, Daniel D'Amato, the winner. Podium is going to be, for the pros, it's going to be D'Amato, Baron and Lima. For the AMs, it's going to be Nelson, Roca and Liebhauser. And we're also going to see on the podium Galopata, the best of the 458 drivers, the Turkish driver Galopata, that drives the Octane 126 team. He will be up on the podium. Drama right at the end of the race. So cars making their way back into the pit lane now. Slight error from Philip Barron. And to be fair, running as wide was Fabio Lima. It was almost as if the cars were welded together. There is the Philip Barron car, which clearly didn't like the position that the number 2 was in. Daniel D'Amato. Faultless drive from him. Philip's pretty happy with that. So is Danielle, congratulated by his father. At one time, many, many years ago, when I was first into the Ferrari Challenge, they used to share a car, you know. There is Fabio Lima. Threw everything at it that he could. It wasn't going to be enough in the end. Just listening in to the conversation between Fabio Lima and Christian Birchinger, if we can. Okay, let's have a look at the challenge show right now. Confirmation of the classification then, D'Amato, Baron, Lima, the 1, 2, 3 in the pros. In the AMs, it's by the skin of his teeth. Martin Nelson, Thomas O'Rourke, Jens Liebhauser. If there was a cup for the most disappointment in that race, it's got to go to Jens Liebhauser, having done so much hard work, and then for whatever reason for him to falter on the final turn and end up P3 instead of P1 in the AM category. It would go to him. Best of the 458s is Galapata. So Octane 126 with 2 representations on the podium because, of course, Fabio Lima, P3 in the race overall and P3 in the pro category, takes it there for Octane 126 and also Galapata. There is Tommaso Rocca for Rosso Corsa, who, of course, also going to be doubly represented with Philip Barron, a Rosso Corsa driver also. Just Florian Merckx and Tommy Lindroth in the picture there. Florian's tall, Tommy isn't. So it is heading up to the podium where we will be going next. The drivers being ushered up there as we speak. It'll be pro podium first of all that we will see, and then the AM podium. In the AM podium, Martin Nelson, 4 out of 4. What a result for him. Second place for Tommaso Rocca as well. Taken 2 P2s this weekend in the AM category to bank with his P5 and P4 from Valencia. Okay, in Pro P3, Super Slow-Mo, Fabio Lima. P2, Philip Barron. P1, by some measure, Daniel D'Amato. So everyone in the pit lane makes their way to a vantage point where they can see the podium, which kind of elevates over the pit lane and just onto the racetrack, or above the racetrack, I should say. Fantastic podium here at Monza. And there it is, readied for both the Pro and the AM drivers.
Sotto punta traghetto tragara.
Down there. Again, just trying to listen in on the conversations that go on.
Suddenly the dashboard fell down and I couldn't see shit, and everything was flashing.
Apologies for the colourful language that you may hear. As the emotions of a race are heard from drivers. D'Amato, Barron, Lima, Nelson, Rocca and Liebhauser. And Galapata. Those are the drivers we're going to see up there on the podium. And everyone in the pit lane making their way so that they can see the podium ceremonies. From here in the Ferrari Challenge, it's just 2 weeks rest before we head off to Budapest for the next round. In the Drivers' Championship, Fabio Lima is now only a 3-point margin over Philip Barron. And Daniel D'Amato, bearing in mind he has not done the first 2 races and only joined here in Monza, is P3 in the points already. Sam Smith is P4, then it's Vezzoni, Bjorn Grossman and Andrea Gagliardini. So Fabio Lima then makes his way to the 3rd step of the podium. Here comes Philip Barron then for P2. And on the top step, Daniel D'Amato. We'll also see Galapata then is the best of the 458 drivers. And national anthem to play out there for Daniel D'Amato. the shortened version of the national anthem to play out for Daniel D'Amato. And Mr. Antonello Coletta, the Ferrari GT Sporting Activities Director, makes the trophy presentation first of all to Fabio Lima. For P3, P2 goes the way of Philippe Baron. P1 to Daniel D'Amato. And Dupuy then with the trophy for the teams. And of course the Pirelli trophy as well. So thank you to Pirelli for inviting us to their fantastic museum on Friday night for the cocktail reception. And Galapatar then receives the 458 trophy. They will all pose for photographs and then it will be time for champagne.
Anche per il PCP, per l'altro e poi che c'è una grande weekend Monteghe, le foto, la cazzo della Monza, secondo round della serie.
All smiles up there. Now who'll be, look at Galapatar. He's on his way. So then the champagne spraying on the podium, and once again then the cleansing contractor will be called in to mop up the podium so that we can have the AM podium where we will see Martin Nelson, Tommaso Rocca and Jens Liebhauser. And the spectators then watch on the podium ceremonies. And there you can see just how hot it is in a racing car. Let's take super slow-mos then of the top three in the AM. Jens Liebhauser, who came within meters of taking the top spot. And that would have been his first P1. Tommaso Rocca P2. And Martin Nelson P1. Now interesting, it's the fourth win for Martin Nelson in the AM category. It's the fourth P3 for Jens Liebhauser. You must think, what on earth have I got to do to do a bit better? There in the Drivers' Championship, Martin Nelson, look at that, 83 points over Jens Liebhauser. So Jens Liebhauser and Tommaso Rocca on the podium. Here comes, arguably, Martin Nelson, who was really rather gifted, that it has to be said, and I think he would admit that also. So, as is often the case, Martin does his hair prior to putting the baseball cap on. And here to make the presentations is Francesco Bianchi, President of Ferrari Europe and Africa. Then, first of all, to Jens Liebhauser, who came so close to making it P1. Tommaso Rocca. It's two P2s for him across the weekend. Martin Nelson, who takes another one for Scuderia Autoropa. Well done. And here comes the Pirelli trophy as well. Also going the way of Martin Nelson. Jennifer, the marketing director of Pirelli, making that presentation. So, whoa, hang on a minute, Tommaso. You have to have the photographs first. To heck with the photographs, he says. Big smiles all round. Look at Liebhauser go. He's going to be the quickest. No, he's not. It's Tommaso Rocca. He does it every time. He just beats them all. Can't do it in the race, but he can do it on the podium. Brilliant stuff. We're going to see a win for Tommaso, I'm sure, as well as a win for Jens Liebhauser before the season is out in the Drivers' Championship then, as we saw just before the podium got underway. 83 points, place 53. And then it is 51 points for Tommaso Rocca with Chris Froggatt on 40. There's Joshua Cartu, Mark Brough, Christian Overgaard, Robin Jensen, Thomas Loflad, and Per Nielsen. Okay, while we recover our thoughts, let's take a look at the highlights of that extraordinary race. Fabio Lima then chasing down Philip Barron towards the end of the race. Martin Nelson and Tommaso Rocca had been at it throughout the race. Fabio Lima, whatever he threw at Philip Barron, could not find a way past. The man, though, that had the most extraordinary lead of some 13 seconds right at the front of the pack was Daniel D'Amato. Jens Liebhauser, well, we thought he'd done everything that he needed to do to take the AM win, but it wasn't going to be the case because Fabio Lima chased Philip Barron right the way across the line. Jens Liebhauser, unfortunately, his car faltered right on the line, gifting another AM win to Martin Nelson. And Tommaso Rocca took P2, and Jens Liebhauser had to be satisfied with P3. Martin Nelson looked happy up there on the podium, deservedly so. Next event then, Hungaroring, Budapest. Join us there. Bye-bye for now.